Good morning, everyone. It's Haz here, and today we'll be talking about some quick tips for all newcomers to Splatoon to help you improve faster and get ready for Splatoon 3. I'll be also making some more Splatoon content from Guys to News, so if that interests you, subscribe to support the channel. Now, this video is aimed at brand new players to Splatoon, but some of these tips might help older players as well if you're stuck at certain aspects of the game, but its aim is mainly to help new players ease into Splatoon faster, as competitive games can be a bit harsh at times even if they are as lighthearted as Splatoon. Now let's get started. Number 1 and most important tip to begin with is try out motion controls and practice. Motion controls are still somewhat a niche way to play games today, even though they are somewhat advanced, and Nintendo has done a fantastic job at pushing this technology with how good it is on the Nintendo Switch. But despite games such as Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword's remake, I think motion controls are still largely unpopular. If you didn't know, Splatoon comes with natural motion controls you can enable in the settings of the game, and it is possibly one of the best options you can enable to get better. Even if you never liked it before or never used motion controls before, I recommend enabling them unless there is a serious health reason for avoiding this feature, as motion controls massively help controlling your Inkling. It can feel clunky at start, but that's how all beginnings are, and all you need is just to figure out the sensitivity you are somewhat comfortable with and keep practicing techniques on how to properly use motion controls with your sticks together. It can take days or weeks, but it will click, I promise you, and it will become a lot more comfortable and help you aim better in Splatoon. The perfect place to practice without any pressure is the training room you can enter anytime by going into your equipment menu and pressing the test button when looking at any given weapon you own. This way not only you can practice any weapons you'd like to improve with, but you can just hang out in the training room and work on your aim. My second tip is to play more aggressively. Now, this can be a bit controversial depending on what kind of player you are, but let me explain. In my experience, one of the things new players tend to do in Splatoon is focus on mostly painting the ground, especially because of the Turf War game mode that chooses the winner depending on painting. Now, there is nothing wrong of course with that, but in the end Splatoon is a PvP competitive game. Well, unless you play the PvE modes of course. But while focusing on painting the ground is useful and helps you contribute to your team, fighting or splatting your opponents on the other hand gives time for your whole team to work together more. And as they say, it just snowballs after that. Splatting one opponent helps you splat the others too, and then your whole team can focus on increasing your turf. Being mindlessly aggressive is also no good. That's the reason this tip might be controversial. But if you find yourself usually away from conflict, it's always good to force yourself to meet the other team to practice shooting. You'll be surprised how much better your matches will get. Number 3 is to play in a team. This is the perfect time to also remind everyone that Splatoon is a team game. Playing good and splatting your opponents is amazing, especially if you're also great at painting your territory, but it might also mean nothing if your team is all over the place while the opponents are playing together well and pick you all out one by one. Move together with your teammates and help each other out. How many times have you found yourself almost splatting an opponent but then just get splatted yourself to see two of them are there and say, if only they were alone, I almost got them. I know I say that a lot. Try to find 2v1 situations instead and use the same advantage, and remember our previous tip, splats help the whole team. So the more effectively you can splat the other team, the better. There are 2 tools that can especially help you with this, and that is super jumping. When spawning, you have a chance to choose one of your teammates to super jump to and help them in a pickle. This can help you coordinate better and find advantageous situations instead of going off alone somewhere else. Or if you find yourself alone after going in a direction and you're not sure if it's the right place to be, you can always open the map and super jump back to the spawn to make sure you don't get splatted for nothing and reposition yourself better, or just help your teammates. Even if in worst case your teammates can't help you much in splatting, you can still use them as a bait, or to distract your opponent from shooting you to get those splats easier yourself. My 4th tip is to keep your momentum. Mobility is huge in Splatoon, and in Splatoon 3 it will only get better. Try to always keep your momentum, keep moving and looking for where you could be for the best possible results, where your teammates are, where the opponents are, and go there and use everything you have. Always keep an eye out for your ink levels and remember to use your specials and sub-weapons. It is not uncommon for new players to be totally overwhelmed by the game trying to focus on aiming, swimming, and learning your weapons, just to forget that you have a sub-weapon and a special too. Always have an eye on the corner for when your special is ready and use it, especially if you're alone. It's better to use it than save it for later. Unless you know your team is good at coordinating specials, but that's another topic entirely. If you get splatted, the special bar goes way back and you'll have wasted opportunities, so make sure not to forget using your specials. I can't stress how many times I've seen on the end screen that a new player would have zero special use because simply they forgot to use them. If you face other new players especially, a well-timed special will almost guarantee you a splat, since just like you, possibly the opponent also doesn't have enough experience to defend against it. Learn your own weaknesses and use them against your opponents. And the final tip is to always keep experimenting. Splatoon is a rich game. Frankly, not only Splatoon but most video games are. So this applies to almost everything. Always keep experimenting. Never settle down and always look for new things to try out, practice and improve it. This especially goes at the beginning for when you're choosing your sensitivity. If something feels off, try out different settings and see what works better. Of course, changing too much isn't good either. Let yourself practice for a few days and see what are the best options for you. No one else can help you with that. Same goes for weapons. Try out as many as you can and keep practicing. Maybe a YouTube video will tell you that dualies are the best or the new Splatana. But what if you're a blaster god? And you'll never know because you never tried it. Maybe you never tried rushing ahead on the middle of a specific map. See how it goes in your next match. Will you get splatted? Probably, but who cares? There's a chance you'll be an advantage and find new ways to win more of your games. If you never settle and keep experimenting and learning new things, you'll constantly improve and find out new things about yourself, what you're good at, what you're having fun with, or how you can improve even further or just enjoy Splatoon a lot more. That is it for our beginner tips video for Splatoon, everyone, and to prepare newcomers for Splatoon 3. Hope it helps, and most importantly, hope it encourages you to keep experimenting and open up for new ways to enjoy playing games. I'll be doing more of these videos, so if you liked it, consider supporting the future of the channel and get updates on new content. But for now, that is it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all in Splatoon 3. Bye bye.